Welcome, everybody, to Chronicles of a Dallas County Democrat. I am your host, AZ Zion. In this podcast, we interview local activists and delve into their lives and how they got to where they are today. And in our very first episode, we have the one and only Subrina Brenham. Subrina, say hi.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for having me, AZ.
No, thank you, Subrina, for coming on. It's a privilege that you were my first guest. Now, I gotta segue into this. Now, do you remember how we first met?
Yes, the very first time we met on the campaign trail for Kamala Harris. I think we were over in the Fire Park, Dallas, East Dallas area.
We were at Bonton.
We were in Bonton.
We were at William Blair Park. Yeah. That's where I met you and Keisha O'Reilly and
right, Miss O'Reilly, Miss Gallimore out of Joppy.
Absolutely.
We and Mr. David Fisher.
Met a lot of great people. For sure. Now I want to kind of get into, who you are and everything.
Well, what I do is, as for my employment, I'm self-employed as a financial tax preparer professional. And on the volunteer side for the community, I'm a community activist in the Highland Hills area in Dallas, Texas. I'm a volunteer for the Healthy Start with Parkland Hospital. And in that capacity, we're fighting to stop mothers and babies from dying from childbirth.
Do you remember?
I'm busy in the community, but I love my community and I love the city of Dallas, number one. And I just feel like that I want to do any and everything that I can to improve the quality of life in the area where I live and the city of Dallas.
Now, you said Highland Hills, born and raised?
Moved to Highland Hills when I was 3 years old.
Okay, very nice. And been living there since?
Been since 1965, and I'm 62 years old now.
You don't look it. You're great.
Thank you.
Now, do you remember what was the impetus? When was the first time you got involved in your community?
As an adult or as my childhood?
Yeah, just do you remember the very first moment that you got involved in your community?
The very first moment that I got involved in my community, I'll say as an adult, is when I opened my business in 2002 in the community, the corner of Simpson Stewart and Bonneview, where the main intersection in my community. And I looked out the door and I saw that we hadn't had any changes. At first I was working, going to work, coming back home, leaving, doing, going out or doing whatever away from the community. And once I opened up my business in 2002, then that's when I went outside my business and I looked around and I'm like, where are our leaders? Where are our elected officials? And my first letter as an adult was to our current council member at the time, which was Mr. James Frantroy. And I never got a response. That's how I got started.
Okay. So you sent a letter to your elected official at the time. You never got a response. This was 2002?
That was in 2002.
2002. So you were, if I could do the math correctly, just a very brief moment here, you were in your 40s?
Yeah, at that time, yes.
Okay. And how then did you get involved? Did you start volunteering for another campaign? Did you try to organize people around a certain issue?
Got involved is Mr. Frantroy, his tenure was over at City Council for some apparent reasons, criminal reasons. And we had an election in 07, and I helped the former Charles Rose, judge who used to be our Justice of the Peace, Charles Rose, who is the father of our current state representative, Tony Rose. I helped him in his campaign. And that was in 07. In 06, that was in 2006, because city council is every odd year. So that was in 07. And then after the race, we had a new councilman. Judge Rose did not win. So I reached out to our presently former councilman, Tanel Atkins. And that's when I reached out to him, and I didn't get any response. So in 2012, I reached out to him from 08 to 2012 with no response. And so that's when I decided to run for city council. And I'm thinking at that time that maybe I can find my own answers and let me become the city council representative. So that's how that happened.
So you ran in 2013?
My first run was in 2013, and I won 30% of the votes.
That's not bad for a first-time candidate against an incumbent.
No. And that's when I got his attention.
That's definitely one way to do it. How was that experience for you? What did you learn? What was your biggest takeaways?
Woo, boy, my biggest takeaways, it was going so fast, but my biggest takeaways is learning about the integrity of our representatives.
Of our leaders.
Of our leaders of this city. That's when I learned.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty big learning lesson when you get into the arena and start, getting into the, kind of the dirty side of politics and see how everything works, right? Yeah. Leaders not responding and what have you. So 2013, 30%. I wouldn't say that's a bad result. Was Tanel Atkins, so he won in the end, and Atkins served until last year or just earlier this year?
Well, he served until 2015, and he termed out. And then after he termed out in 2017, he came back. We talked, and he was honest with me. He said he was about and I have a video if you ever want to see it. He was about the big picture, and he, was being honest that he's about the community at this time. It's 2017. And I vowed to him, I said, I will help you as long as you're focusing on the people. But I also told him, I said, in any event that I feel like you're not for the people, I will come back and run against you again.
And you did.
And I did.
2015, I believe, right?
Well, I did 2015, but he had termed out. That's when we had a feel of, that's when former councilman Eric Wilson won the race.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
When Mr. Atkins came back in 2017, I didn't run. We talked, and we started to work together. And then 2019, I didn't run. And when we were faced with an unjustly environmental issue, Shingle Mountain.
We'll talk about that.
And that's when I ran against Mr. Atkins, because at that point he showed that he had no gratitude of any sort toward the District 8 and the community of Highland Hills.
So I do want to talk about that in a minute. Kind of let me back up just a moment here. Is Council Member Atkins, in kind of from your experience, his non-responsiveness, is that typical of a politician, an elected official, or is this kind of an outlier?
It's typical. The only time that I see that most elected officials will respond if they know that that constituent is a person that's going to make an issue out of it, or a person that is very outspoken or an activist, then they will for surely respond. And then District 8 being the largest district in the city of Dallas, um, it depends on the zip code.
Now, if you could, this is kind of a good segue because I was just thinking of just the sheer size of District 8 today,
Mhm.
before
Mhm.
in preparation for this episode, and I'm like, I'm gonna let you put it in far better words than I can, but it's pretty much Kleberg, southeast Dallas, all the way into the west or the eastern portions of Redbird.
Mhm.
Describe District 8 for me and for the people listening.
District 8 again is 56 square miles. Um, West of I-20, it starts at I-20 and Camp Wisdom, which is the Redbird Mall, which is now called the Shops at Redbird, and going east I-20 over from 175, ending at Ed Road, Beltline in that area. That area is called Kleberg-Rylie.
Mm-hmm.
So it covers Redbird,
Mm-hmm.
Polk Terrace, Hidden Valley. Hidden Valley is the area where the UNT Dallas is.
Mm-hmm.
All of that is District 8. Continuing east on up to Highland Hills, where I live, and the southern east part of Pleasant Grove over into Kleberg-Rylie. So District 8 covers a lot.
It does, and it's a lot of different communities as you just listed, and it's a lot of different groups of people, a lot of different concerns. How would you, if you were have been elected, how would you have approached your tenure as council member, trying to balance all of those different constituencies?
Well, number one, you have to deal with where the don't get me wrong, the district needs help all the way around. But we have Kleberg-Rylie that has been asking for resources such as public safety for over 20 years now. And they don't have it. And as of right now, I don't see nowhere soon that they're going to get it. Now on the campaign trail, we all promised them that, but at this time, I don't see. I don't see where any plans are going to be started for Kleberg-Rylie. I'm going to a budget meeting this week, and so I'll be able to really clarify if there are plans for public safety in the Kleberg-Rylie area. Another thing is we have an area out there close to Kleberg-Rylie that's an unincorporated area called Sand Branch
Mm-hmm.
without running water.
Mm-hmm. Still.
And yes, and so to my knowledge, they have to be incorporated through the city of Dallas, and that has not taken place. And I feel like if I had been the council member for District 8, I won't say that the running water would have started, but by now that area would have been incorporated into the city of Dallas charter so that we could begin having water. And the paperwork has just been sitting at this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for the listeners and the viewers, there is a community called Sand Branch. It is not, as Sabrina said, it is not officially a part of Dallas, so it makes it a part of Dallas County. Is that right? So would it fall on the county's
Dallas,
responsibility? Yeah,
yes, the county and but the city of that they pay county taxes, but they don't. So in other words, they don't have a water bill from the city of Dallas, and they don't have sanitation.
and it's
And some of the
2025.
things, and it's 2025, and some of the things that Mr. Avery, Derek Avery, is trying to put in place out there. It's gotten the EPA was on board. I don't know how it is now because of the new administration up in DC, but it's gonna cost like $500,000 to put in a station there where people could just go and get water. That was in 2024. It was the cost for just a water station. Now, a water station could have been, if it was $500,000 in 2024. Well, a water station could have been there a long time ago for probably $25,000.
True. It's a drop in the bucket.
So, yes. So that could have been put in a long, long time ago, even before I got involved. So, but he has a lot of the finances and the resources, but we still have to get it incorporated into the City of Dallas charter.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That kind of segues into another issue that we had for the longest time. It was called Shingle Mountain. This was in the Floral Farms community. This is actually you and Gail Terrell actually introduced me to Dr. Marsha Jackson, who is the activist out in front of this issue. Explain to our listeners Shingle Mountain. What is it and how did that come to be?
Shingle Mountain took place from a couple of business owners that they were removing roofing shingles, which we know that they are toxic and they have toxic chemicals in these shingles. Well, the shingles were being removed from a business in Collin County. We're in Dallas. Shingle Mountain is in Dallas County. In Collin County, in order to get to Dallas from Collin County, you have to take 75. You have to cross through the city of Dallas, which that means you pass City Hall, on over to Southern Dallas and started dumping the shingles in the back of Miss Jackson's backyard. When in fact, the McComas landfill was across the street. Well, How I learned about Shingle Mountain, I received a phone call. I was taking an evening nap and my phone rang. And it was my current council member at the time, Mr. Tennille Atkins, telling me about Shingle Mountain. I was going through some health issues at the time, and so I was asleep, and he started telling me about Shingle Mountain. He didn't tell me that the city waited 11 months to answer the call. He just told me that I'm trying to get Shingle Mountain all worked out, because remember, the conversation was previously, I won't run against you unless I see that you are not doing right by the people. And so he had to make that phone call to me to plead his case to me when I wasn't even paying attention at the time. And he was pleading his case to me that he was going to get it straight. He needed me to make sure I was working with him and this and that and other and all that stuff. So I called a good friend of mine at the time. I said, can I say exactly what I said?
Please do. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I said, where in the hell is Shingle Mountain? She said, well, it's down there for 310. I'm like, I go to 310 all the time. Where is it? She took me there. And I stopped. And I said, I fought myself. I said, I'm embarrassed. She said, why are you embarrassed? I said, because I come this way at least 2 or 3 times a week. And I didn't see this. I said, how you get over there? She guided me through what street to turn on. So I said, well, why did the council member call me to tell me about this? And she said, well, they the city had been notified, but no one answered. The code ticket had been closed 2 or 3 times. And so I told her, I said, somebody ain't telling the truth. Somebody lying. I said, you sure that lady, this is Miss Jackson at the time. I hadn't met her. I said, you sure that lady called? Because the mountain, at that time, it was a pure mountain. A mountain. And I said, are you sure she called? She said, yeah, she called. I said, I would like to meet her. I
And
said, I got to talk.
and what time period was this? 2019 roundabout?
This was 2019. And when I met her, it was like November 2019. And this is because the story had broken. Dallas Morning News broke the story. So I went and I met Miss Jackson. And I just asked her, when did she start calling? She told me February. We were in November. I just couldn't believe it. From February until November, it took that long for the city to respond to that call. And it was, of course, ended up in lawsuits and everything. People, the constituents out there, the residents out there were sick from the environment, breathing all those chemicals and things from the shingles. Miss Jackson herself, and I think she's still having a few medical issues of breathing and her losing her voice. I think one of the children ended up on a ventilator from all of the bad air. And we have a right to breathe free air, and so the rights and everything have been violated.
Absolutely. Now,
just because of a phone call not being answered.
so help me understand. Help me understand and help the listeners, the audience understand as well. If I'm the city council member of a district and somebody, it doesn't even have to be from Collin County, but in this case from Collin County, comes into my district and starts dumping shingles that, first of all, cause toxins and is not good for the community. And I'm not talking about anyone specifically here, just in general. Why would I not want to be proactive? Why would I not want to answer a phone call?
That I can't answer for you. All I can say back again, that comes with integrity and loyalty, because Miss Jackson was a very great supporter of the council member at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, when you ask me what makes them want to answer a call or not answer a call, I said by zip code or if they know you. Now, he knew her and he still didn't answer her phone call. So you really can't, it's all about the person. Are you a leader or you're not?
Yeah.
Are you there for self or are you there for the people? Which one is it?
Agreed. I'm actually I'm volunteering for an organization right now, Downwinders at Risk. They are working on a similar issue, something about the city of Dallas and shingles. I don't know what it is, but there is an asphalt shingle plant in Tamco, which is not D8, it's not District 8, it's District 7, but it's in that general vicinity. And also
Yes,
in West Dallas as well, the GAF factory over there.
Mhm.
Both of these factories are producing asphalt shingles, which are damaging, which produce dangerous levels of toxins in the community. Again, same kind of story there. You really have to just, I don't want to say butt heads, but there's really no other way to put it. You have to kind of ruffle some feathers to try to get anything done. And we saw that. You mentioned the budget town hall that you'll be a part of in a little bit. We went to the budget town hall in West Dallas, and that didn't turn out to be great. And then we went to the one in South Dallas, and based on the response that they got from West Dallas, they adjusted accordingly. And now the city is now going to be addressing the asphalt shingles.
Yeah, well, I've been reading that they're going to pay some attention. I like to see the outcome of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm.
All right, Sabrina. So you ran this last time. I helped you with a couple of things. I think I block walked for you, or distributed flyers for your campaign. This was the 2025 effort, again, for District 8. This was an open seat, so you were one of them. How was your experience this time around?
Experience this time around, as long as I've been working in this community, I was the only candidate that had stayed active in this community in my own capacity as an activist. And because the incumbents say to vote for this person, then voters in Dallas don't do their homework. Although they know that Subrina has been doing the work in their community, in the city of Dallas, because I have clients that I help all over the city of Dallas. And I did get that feedback that I only care about Highland Hills. Well, I'm from Highland Hills. What do you want me to do? You want me to go to another community and take over? That's not the way that works. Now, I do go to other areas in Dallas to help people when they need help. I help wherever I'm asked to help as an activist. But I am a precinct chair in my community, and so my Democratic Party rated my opponents with a higher grade over me, and I don't know why that happened. I can tell you that I was when they asked, "How long have you been volunteered in your community?" Well, I started volunteering at the age of 15 in my community. My first volunteer job was working with the veterans at Veterans Hospital on Lancaster Road. Nobody knows that. But I put all that information in my questionnaire, along with all of the elected officials that I helped work with my father to help get elected throughout my life. And so because the incumbent said vote for this person, although the people didn't know who that person was, and I ended up helping her in the runoff because at that time when I didn't make the runoff, I had to choose on which candidate that I thought would be the best for the community.
And this candidate being Lori Blair versus Eric Wilson
Yeah,
in the
that's
runoff.
Councilwoman Lori Blair at this time. And so I did my homework, and I always do my homework. And I know that many voters don't do their homework, so I try to do it for them as a precinct chair. That's what a precinct chair is supposed to do. You're supposed to inform your community on candidates to help them out. You're not telling them to vote for the person, but you're trying to put the information out there to let them know about this person, that person, and the next person. But at the end of the day, for some reason, the constituents didn't think my work was hard enough, and no work got elected, and all of the work that I have done did not get elected.
So you
But
touched,
they can't. I'm still not going to stop.
and you shouldn't. You touched on a couple items there that I want to kind of expand on. Your father, you talked to me briefly in the past about your father doing like a barbecue for the Democratic Party or what have you. What was the impact that your dad had on you in terms of your activism?
Me, growing up, because my father was a AFL-CIO union representative and business manager for his laborers local number 648, is to be yourself, be honest, and be real. And when you do that, you'll make it. You know everything would go. It won't go smooth for you, but you'll feel better about yourself by being honest. And in that role, he had me and my siblings. We built signs for many candidates, such as Governor Mark White, Ann Richards, Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson. My father went against the union when Eddie Bernice Johnson came back to run after state rep. He went against the union to help Eddie Bernice Johnson and allowed her to put her office inside his union office. and helped her get elected. So when he say do what you believe in, and that's what he believed in, and through perseverance, he helped her get reelected. I have a video of that as well.
I'd love
Of
to see
Eddie
that video.
Bernice, of Congresswoman, the late Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson telling the story. My father
Yeah.
just turned 89 years old now.
Still kicking. I think I saw on social media a picture of you and your dad. Either I saw it or like you showed it to me or something. He's still out there.
Yeah. And so he support me in everything that I do. As far as, with the community or whatever I'm doing. He's my greatest supporter.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing, and it's great to have a kind of support system from the very beginning when you were a child growing up. Someone instilling those values in you, letting you know that community involvement is crucial. Um, Not everybody has that, Sabrina, as you and I know. And you touched on something that I want to get to now. The fact now I got to tell you, I have done a lot of data analysis after the November election and after the local elections in May, this past May. Um, and you touched on something here where it's the lack of voter engagement in certain
Mhm.
communities. Now, where I live, far north Dallas, we vote all the time, more or less, right? But in the communities that I worked in last year for the county party, that is less so the case. In Highland
You're
Hills, for example, I am almost positive I could double check it again, but the rate of voting is not even double digit percentage. It's
no, it's
far
not.
less than that. How do we activate people to vote? How do we go about that process? There's a bunch of different factors, but I want to just get it from you, how you think is the best approach.
Well, the best approach is about educating the community. And I'm in the seat now where, because of my office, I have people coming in for different reasons, different resources, because I have a nonprofit as well, Highland Hills Community Outreach and Services. So they come in for different reasons, or sometimes they just come in to talk. They know me from the community. And they just this year, 24-25, they have been coming in. Miss Sabrina, I just don't like what's going on. I said, what do you mean you don't like what's going on? When they gonna get that man out of office? I said, who is they? And what man are you talking about? The president. My first question to them is, did you vote? No, because I just know ain't nothing gonna happen. I said, that's why he's got elected. Your no vote got him elected. I said, are you registered to vote? No. So I hand them the voters registration card. First of all, you got to get registered to vote, and you got to start voting. And that's what I do. I have voters registration drives. I still run into, the main thing I run into is nothing is going to take place. And that comes with when people feel like nothing is going to take place, that's because they have called a representative that represents us and they don't get a return call. Well, they have a valid reason. They have a
Yeah.
valid reason.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely true. And it kind of goes to what you said earlier. You just gotta keep pestering them or eventually run against them as you have.
Right. And I feel like a lot of the things that have taken place in District 8 is because if I had not run against him, the incumbent, the former council member, some of the things probably would not have gotten done
Mm-hmm.
that did get done.
Mm-hmm.
And did all the major things get done? No. But did the bare minimum just to get by and to please um the voters. And the majority of my voters are senior citizens that are retired. And once that elected official give them their free turkey and a box of groceries, that's the vote.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Do you believe, I think if I'm hearing you right, do you believe the burden is on leadership, why people are not civically engaged?
Well, yes, because even when we were out walking and canvassing for Kamala Harris, people were saying, "Well, Sabrina, we've been asking for our street to be fixed for I don't know how long," and we are. They're like, "Well, I don't know who I'm gonna vote for right now,"
Mm-hmm.
and this is choosing between Kamala Harris and the present person that we have in office now. I didn't think it would take a rocket scientist to figure it out on who we should be voting for. Some people just did not go to the polls and vote. I've had a constituent to tell me one time, and I was embarrassed. She was so mad at the former council member. I just didn't go vote. I said, "So you didn't go vote? So you didn't even go vote for me?" I said, "You were upset with him, so you didn't go vote for me." I just didn't go vote, Sabrina. Telling you, AZ, some of the stories that you hear, you be like, where do I start? You can start educating here, and then here you go trying to put out another fire over here about why somebody didn't go vote. And you were on the ballot yourself.
Yeah, but I don't think this is the entire burden should be on an individual like you. The entire burden is on all of us. People
Hey,
in leadership, people who are organizers, activists. We have that platform, and so we should, as you said, educate communities and make it known that if you don't vote, then nothing is going to happen. At the very least, vote for who you think is the best choice. And once you vote and once you make that choice, be sure to be on them all the time. I know that
all the
sounds
time.
exhausting because people have jobs and kids and bills and everything, but it's a cycle that politicians know. They know that if you don't ruffle their feathers, they will continue doing the status quo.
Well, the bottom line is when we're running for office, number one, first of all, if you stay active in the community, you already know what the needs are for the community. You really don't even need the community to come and tell you, we need this and we need that. You already know. You're running for office. You're supposed to know. And then once we get in office, or they get in office, they forget they had these meetings or that they even know about the things that they already know that need to be done in a certain community. The grocery store issue in my community has been a joke since 07, 08. It's been a whole joke of playing with and misusing and abusing our tax dollars.
Now, remind me and the audience again, the grocery store issue. What is that, really quickly?
The grocery store issue here, first of all, District 8 is what they call we're deficient in food insecurities, which is food desert. The area of Highland Hills don't have a quality grocery store. And so we have several things that prevents or stops a quality grocer from coming to our area. However, on the campaign trail, well, it's not even on the campaign trail. I have 5 acres of land for sale and in the Highland Hills community. And I've come across developers. And when they find out that I live in the community, I had a developer to say, well, we were trying to get that grocery store up there. And we were in the economic development department. They had made us wait all day for a meeting. They ignored us. So the city of Dallas is ignoring people that wants to put a grocery store, a quality grocery store in our area. Why? I don't know. Because I'm not the council member, I can't answer that question. The only way I can answer questions like that is I got to be the council member so I can come back and tell the community what's going on. So I can go back and find that developer and tell him to come on.
If someone sees an issue, a problem in their community, and it has all but given up hope, right? If they want to make a change, what would you tell them? What was the biggest piece of advice you would tell that person, how they can go about bringing about that change?
If like just a constituent or just a voter or
A
the elected
voter, a
official?
constituent, yes.
Okay. From the first of all, uh, as I have done, I would reach out to my council member first. And then you got to galvanize in the community as well. You got to go to your community meetings with your homeowners associations. That's another way. And you get up and voice your opinion. That's what I did in '08. And why did I do that? Oh Lord. From that meeting on in 2008, it's been a fight for me because I got up and voiced my opinion. Just got up and started talking and told them that I was the business owner in such a place and we need help in this community. I'm open and I'm ready to work. And why did I say that? It's been a fight ever since. But I'm pressing on. I'm gonna continue to fight.
Yes,
I don't
ma'am.
plan to run for office right now. And I believe in giving a person a chance. Like I gave our past council member a chance. But next thing, if it ain't written, it didn't happen. That's what I tell a person. You
That's
got
good, actually.
in writing. And it has to be recorded. Sign up to speak at city council. Sign up to speak before commissioner's court. And don't just go that one time. Now, the elected officials know when Subrina Brenham signs up to speak, it's an issue. I don't just go to speak just to be speaking. Because I have a business to run and I have a community to watch for. But when when I read the agenda items, like one time I read an agenda item, and this is another reason we can't attract a quality grocery store. Another set of apartments that were being approved, getting ready to be voted for in District 8 in the community of 5 Mile with no community input. The community didn't even know it was coming. 5 Mile didn't know it was coming. I just happened to look on the agenda. I called the community leaders in 5 Mile. I couldn't get them. And when they were getting the tax credit, and everything, and they keep telling us that we don't have enough taxes coming into our community to get a grocery store, but you're giving tax credit to these developers to bring unwanted apartments. We told them over and over, we don't want any more apartments. We want something to generate our property tax base. So with me being a self-employed, I was able to go and speak at the drop of a hat to let them know, let the city know that we are not even acknowledged. We haven't been acknowledged. The constituents, the stakeholders, we have not been acknowledged about this developer bringing another set of apartments built in another flood zone that's less than 5 miles from two other sets of apartments built in flood zones. So we have 3 sets of apartments within a 5 mile, probably a 3 mile radius, all built in flood zones.
Yeah,
A disaster just waiting to happen.
absolutely.
And so all I can say is you got to stay active, voice your opinion, put it in writing, and it must be recorded. That's the only way, and vote. That's the only way we're going to get something done.
That's
And
good
then you'll
steps
get the
indeed.
attention of your council member.
Absolutely, absolutely. Uh, one issue where we have been fighting for a long time, but it came to really a prominent position lately. And this doesn't have to do with Dallas County per se. It actually has to do with the state and probably national politics as well, obviously. Uh,
Okay.
our gerrymandering, where
Mhm.
the president is said, I mean, he at this point he's saying the quiet parts out loud. We want more Republican seats out of Texas.
Mhm.
I kind of want your thought on all of that, to be honest, gerrymandering, but also the Texas legislators' response, uh, and whatever you feel needs to be addressed.
Okay. About this gerrymandering and changing the lines and everything mid-decade, we don't even have another census until 5 more years. I just feel like number 1 is unconstitutional, and because we don't have enough Democrats to outweigh the Republicans in the, House, and the only way the Democrats could stop something was to break quorum and to leave the state. Okay, they did that, but at this point, what was the reason of doing it when you come back, then you have taxpayers' money being wasted with state troopers being assigned to each person that was a Democrat so that they wouldn't leave the state. It's just too much going on. And I just
Insanity.
feel like a lot of constitutional rights were violated. And as a whole, as being an elected official, whether you are a Republican or a Democrat, you were elected to serve the people, not the governor of Texas and not the president of the United States. But we also, as an elected officials, many elected officials have drawn lines in the past for their selfish reasons. And it's been used again for the Republicans' selfish reasons. So everything is done by the elected officials for their selfish reasons. It doesn't have anything to do with the people, but to harm the people. Because if all of this take effect, I have Obamacare, and it's affordable health care. But I'm calling it Obamacare is because Obama did care. And I can say that because Obamacare paid $25,000 per chemo treatment I had to have in 2015. And I'm alive and well, along with some holistic things that I do as well. So I'm cancer free. I'm free. I don't have any cancer in my body.
Mhm.
See, there's a difference between cancer free and what you call it? The other one. When it's not active right now.
Remission.
Remission. I'm cancer free. I'm not in remission. I don't have remission mean you still have some tumors, but
Hmm.
they're just there. But so I'm cancer free. And if Obama didn't care, I don't think I would be here talking to you. And so if that is cut, or if my premium goes up, which I'm already thinking now that I'm going to have to go over to Parkland, to our county hospital. And then at that, how do we know what's going to happen with that? They're not going to have enough room for all of us that are on affordable health care for Parkland. Am I right? Because they're going to have an abundance of people going over to Parkland. So I'm in limbo right now. I'm thinking like, I got to be proactive and think about what's going to happen in the future. And as a voter, as a constituent, as a taxpayer, I should not be thinking like that. I should be thinking about going to work, taking care of my business at home, and going about my day when now I got to think about my health care.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a
Cause
struggle that many people
so that
face.
don't make sense. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. And unfortunately, that is the reality of America and people in power, particularly the Republican Party.
Mhm.
They don't really care about that reality. They care, as you said, about their own power, about what they are getting out of it,
Well, it's
whether it's
working in both parties.
gerrymandering or anything.
It works in both parties. I've seen it right here in Dallas, where council members have drawn other people that would run against them out of the district.
Mm.
I've seen it. The only reason I couldn't get drawn out because I live in the middle. Otherwise, I would have been drawn out.
Highland Hills is situated comfortably in the middle of D8. For sure.
I was in the middle, and I had 3 addresses in the middle. My grandmother's address, my address, and my parents' address. I had 3 addresses in the middle, and if you include that 5 acres of land, I had 4 addresses. And in 3070, and part of the 5 acres is in 3071.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
But the 3 homes is in 3070.
The precinct is 3070, 3071 Dallas County precinct.
3070 precinct, and then the 5 acres is in 3071 precinct. Right here together. I don't know if they did that much homework to find out that she got an address here and here and here and right over across the street. So I don't know how much homework they did, but they knew that if they drew me out, they was going to draw their base out, the voting base.
They do that, absolutely. They did it with Jasmine Crockett. They drew her out of her district as well.
Yeah,
they have bones to pick
did
with.
their homework.
Absolutely, they did. Absolutely, they
So
know
they
what they're
did their
doing.
homework with me. So they knew that they could draw me out, and they knew they could draw her out.
Absolutely, 100%. Subrina, this is a kind of a couple of questions that I'm going to ask you, but it's also a couple of questions that I'm going to ask for all of my guests. What is the biggest positive that you see of Dallas, and what is the biggest negative of Dallas?
The biggest positive I can see right now is that we do have some new leadership on the city council. And with positive minds. And I think that Dallas, as of right now, is what I see. Especially District 8 is going to be changed in a positive way. The quality of life is going to improve. And that means that includes the city of Dallas. In a negative way is if the new council members that we have and our elected officials that we already have that are in office, based on the things that is going on to them, happening with them on the federal and the state level, if they haven't learned in these last 3 or 4 weeks that it's not about them, that it is about the people, because now they have had to work, put in some real work, and they should have been doing the real work. They should have been already educating their constituency base and the people in there. They know that they are representatives for an area that has a low voter turnout. I have yet to see any of our sitting elected officials bring people in as a group and say, get your children registered to vote. You're 18 years old. Bring them to me so we can tell them how important it is to vote. And until our elected officials stop being complacent and get comfortable once they get in that seat, these last 4 weeks, they have had put in more work than they've had to put in since they've been in office. Now they're looking all tired, droopy-eyed, and don't they say little things, but to me it's not enough. But now it's time for them. They saying it's on the precinct chairs. It's just not us. we're elected officials as well. We've been
Absolutely.
doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
We've been registering people to vote. But our people that are already elected officials, they need to be doing voter registration drives because they are the ones that the people are looking up to.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
they need to have boots on the ground as if they were running for the first time and getting these people out to the polls to vote and explain to them why they need to go to the polls to vote. Not just get on TV and say, we need y'all to go vote. No, you need to explain to them why they need to go vote and let them know what resources may not be available if they don't go vote. But until they do that, I can say it all day long. But I'm not the elected official that we sent to Austin. I'm not the elected official that we sent to City Hall. I'm not that person. Subrina always doing this. It's time for the elected officials to do it.
This is on leadership, as you indicated earlier. You can do it. I could do it. But at the end of the day, our elected officials, our politicians have to step it up, and they have to be the reason. They have to be the reason why people go and vote, and they have to give them a reason, either through their work, exactly, through their work, or through their ideas for the future. But you can't expect people to vote if you're not doing anything, if you're not being proactive about it.
And yeah, just because they left the state, that's very good initiative. Now what we got to do, since the it's still passed, now what we give us the plan. They send us the precinct. One of my members at church, and what the precinct chair is gonna do. We can only do so much.
If only we were supermen and superwomen.
What are we gonna been doing it?
Yeah.
So
absolutely. You've been doing that and a lot more. Where do you see Dallas in 10 years?
Again, if our elected officials around the horseshoe don't take it serious, that it's not about them and it's for the people, Dallas gonna be in bad shape.
Mm-hmm.
Because they cater to the Goldman Sachs and people like that.
So you don't have a very rosy outlook from what I take it?
We got a new council. And so I can't tell right now. But like I said, our elected officials, I don't care if it's local, city, state, or federal, because they all take a part in our city and in our county. If they don't all step up to the plate, and come together and get help us educate the people, and that's throughout this whole entire city of Dallas. It might turn in the Dallas County might turn red.
Oh, let's hope that doesn't happen for sure.
I think it's gonna happen, but it could.
You saying
But right now, I think that the Republicans, many of the Republicans feel like we feel. But I will share this with you. At the Mark Vesey meeting, before we left and went to Austin, there was a group that was happy with the new lines being drawn.
Democrats?
They were Democrats, and they said the reason why is because the Hispanics were picking up 2 seats, but the seats wasn't even nowhere near Dallas. They were just happy that the Hispanics were picking up 2 seats. It didn't matter where it was to them, as long as they were picking up 2 seats. Well, that's not democracy. Democracy is if it's being done correct and properly for everybody, not some. And that particular group, our Congress lady, endorsed them for city council, and now they have turned on her. So we have that issue among the Democrats now. It's 2 minorities, the Hispanics and the blacks. So the Hispanic minority group picking up 2 seats, and the blacks are losing seats. At this point in time, that's why I'm saying about this red and this blue. If we all can't stick together as Democrats because of this gerrymandering and redrawing these lines mid-decade. If we can't stick together as one group, it's going to be a fallout. It's going to be a big fallout in the Democratic Party.
Yes.
I'm speaking out about that because I am very, very upset with we're all supposed to be opposing these new lines, and because one minority group is picking up two seats, then they said we don't need to do nothing. So when are we going to start working together?
Absolutely. Final thoughts, Subrina. I'll leave it to you. Anything that you wanted to add that you couldn't?
At this point, anything I want to add is, again, we as a Democratic Party, we need to come together, and we need to find out if it's so on what I just said, although it was done in an open meeting. They need to be called to the table. We need to nip that in the bud right now to let them know we don't appreciate that. I don't think we need to be silent about it because it's not going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this group is picking up, minority group is picking up 2 seats somewhere else that's not even in our community or in our area, and you got 100,000 people in your area getting ready to lose their health insurance. That don't make sense because you picking up 2 seats. Your group, your ethnicity group is picking up 2 seats. Somebody in your ethnicity group is gonna lose their insurance too because you glad about the 2 seats. That don't make sense.
Yeah, they don't. The Republican Party does not care who picks up what.
Oh no, they don't. Now, these are Democrats I'm talking about.
Sure. Yeah.
We have people thinking like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that when our Congress lady got into the race over there in West Dallas, she should have stayed out of it because the African American people in West Dallas are upset that she got in the race, whether you know it or not. And I hope she knows this by now.
Yeah. All right, Subrina. Pluggables, where can we find you online? You mentioned you also have a nonprofit. Just briefly talk about that before we adjourn.
This Highland Hills Community Outreach and Services, and that's what we do. We work in the community. We do outreach, and we provide services wherever we can, or we can't. If we can't provide them, we find them. Example, I had one client, apartment burnt everything. I was able to get her entire new apartment, filled with furniture and everything for she and her family. Had a young lady that had just didn't have anywhere to stay, and her HUD housing came through, and she didn't have a bed or anything. And in a matter of 2 or 3 days, I was able to make sure that she had a house full of furniture. During the holidays, out of my own pocket, my own dime, and my nonprofit, with no help from anyone, we feed up to 25 to 30 families during the holidays with a turkey or a ham and all the trimming. They get to choose one meat. They either choose the turkey or they choose the ham. And I do that throughout, during the holidays. This summer, when they started, I know they haven't really cut them yet, but they're going to start cutting the food stamps. I think they did cut the food stamps for the summer. But anyway, I've only had a chance to do it we've only had a chance to do it one time. But on Mondays, we try to feed the children in the community a meal. So those are the type of things we do in Highland Hills Community Outreach and Services.
It's amazing. Working for the community, as you said. You don't have to be an elected official. You could be a citizen and still do your part. Absolutely. Where can we find you online? Instagram, Facebook? Do you do any of that?
Facebook, Subrina Brenham.
All right, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Subrina, thank you so much for being my first guest. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you, everybody. This has been the first episode of Chronicles of a Dallas County Democrat, and we out.